Comparison syndrome. Do you suffer from that? What is comparison syndrome? And did you know that there's a healthy component of comparison? It's a normal part of our human cognition, and it can be good for our personal growth, right? We've learnt this behavior as children. It's part of our blueprint. We've been compared to our siblings, we've been compared to our peers, we've been compared to kids on social media, at movies. For most of our life, even externally, there's been a portion of comparison. However, comparison syndrome is not healthy if it's holding us back from achieving what we want to do. Hello, I'm Caterina Smillie and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, it's great to have you. If you're returning, it's good to have you back. If you get value from this video, I'd be so grateful if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you'll be notified when I upload tomorrow's video. So comparison syndrome. Absolutely, there is a healthy component for us to have of comparison. It does give us an almost guide when we can compare, and it gives us a direction, especially if we're headed somewhere we've not been before, right? But at what point is comparison not healthy? And then it goes into the comparison syndrome. It's when it really does impact us and we're continuously endeavoring to follow this person to the point that we may suffer FOMO. We may be doing things and really jumping into things without getting the clarity, all due to we want to be like that person. And we don't take into consideration about who we are and that we're actually different, right? They are them, we are ourself, right? So is this healthy? So if you feel you're suffering comparison syndrome, it could be in the form of with your business, personally, your fitness levels. I'm going to give you an example. A few years back, I really was struggling into doing what I'm doing today, videos, and I saw other people in my field really jumping leaps and bounds. They'd done all the personal development courses I had. It was people within that I worked with. And there was this sense of unhealthy comparison. I would continuously watch what they were doing and compare and go, why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing this? Rather than invest that time on me. So is that anything you're experiencing, whether it be within your field? It could be that you're learning to trade. It could be you're learning to dance. It could be that you're learning, to paint. Or you just want to build your business and there's other people in your industry that may be influencers and you're comparing to them. But are you comparing apples with apples? Often we compare without all the whole information. We're not taking into account the years they've been doing it. We're not taking into account the training that they may have had. We really don't get a true picture of that person, yet we're comparing it. So are you comparing apples with raspberries? It's so important that that's something to take a breath and really acknowledge. So I've got 4 different steps that you can maybe bring into to really assist you. First, it's so important to identify your triggers. Know what triggers you and takes you down the comparison path. Right? It's really important. These are all things I want you to offload out of your head, put onto paper. I want it visual for you. It makes it so much easier to work through when it's now tangible rather than all in your head, right? Number 2, even identify and be consciously aware when you are triggered. Do you currently know how often you're triggered when you go into comparison, or you're not consciously aware and it's just impacting the way you feel about self? So that's something that you can absolutely raise your awareness on and be really mindful of when you're triggered, right? Once you've done that, as in number 1, I've said identify your triggers. Whatever your triggers are, if it is to do with anything with social media, whatever it is, reduce your exposure to those triggers. So that's number 3, reduce your exposure to the triggers. If it's someone on social media that they're an influencer and you're scrolling and they'll keep coming up, then unlike them, do whatever you need to do to reduce your exposure to that person, okay? And whatever it is externally, identify it. Rather than keep allowing it to present itself to you and it keeps triggering you, let's reduce the exposure. Number 4, it's so important that we do the deeper work. All the first 3 things I've suggested to do are all at a surface level. That's just a maintenance for now, right? But in essence, we really want to identify why we have such high comparison syndrome. Why are we so triggered by this person? Whatever it is, we need to identify down in here our truth. Because then we're not going to have to continuously keep doing and using tools. I'm all about elimination, okay? So find why you get triggered. What is it about that person that triggers you? Is there something that you've suppressed from your past that still sits very heavily down in the pit that has not been healed? And that person or that event, that situation, due to that comparison syndrome, triggers it every time? Is that why you're so triggered and in essence it causes you to have comparison syndrome? What from what you've suppressed impacts your self-worth, your self-belief, your self-love? What is it? Do you know? Because anything we suppressed doesn't just disappear. It's there. And it sits, waiting for anything to hook it and bring it up to the conscious awareness. It's so important to identify the whys. And that takes a far deeper work. But if you're really struggling right now, in order to get you to start to move forward, the first 3 tools are ones that are really going to benefit you. So identify your triggers, be aware of what triggers you and when you are triggered. Become really aware of that. And number 3, reduce your exposure to whatever those triggers are. Really be mindful and identify them all, because when you identify them, you go, yeah, if I see that person, that triggers me. Okay, can I block them? Can I do this? Can I do that? So they won't come. If it's someone in your work, okay, can I get different shifts? What can I do? When we're consciously aware, it also does, we have the ability in that moment to go, okay, I know that you trigger me. I'm going to either breathe through this, because breathing is brilliant to keep us emotionally balanced, because some things you cannot change, right? Especially if it's someone you work with. It may just be finding tools, how to go about it. And when we become consciously aware and we write it down, it actually makes it much easier, because now you know it. And I mean, you know it. You are so consciously aware of it. And now you have the ability to implement tools to reduce that trigger. So I hope that you're absolutely aware that comparison is a normal part of our human cognition. It is a way that we have, it's a monitor, right? If we had no comparison, we can't monitor. How would we know we're in a good relationship if we've not been in a crappy relationship? We need to have a comparison. So it is healthy, but at some point it can be extremely unhealthy for self when it blocks you from moving forward. So I hope that you've gained something little from today, and do the exercise, do the writing, because it's really going to assist you to move forward. Remember, you matter. You are your most valuable asset, so invest in you on a daily basis. I hope you got value from today's video, so please like the video, subscribe, and also click on the notifications bell so you'll be notified when I upload tomorrow's Cat's Message of the Day. I want to thank you for spending your time with me, as I respect your time is valuable. So for today,